Hi, I'm John Launius, president of Vidzu Media, part of the Nitrous Effect collective of companies, and welcome to the Leadership Factor, where we shine the light on people doing great things in our community at this time. I'm joined now by Dixie Gillaspie. She's the founder of Tessera Alliance. Dixie, how are you?
I'm doing great, John. Thanks so much for doing this and for inviting me to join you.
Thanks, Dixie, for being here. I mean, it's really been incredible, the amount of leaders that we've been interviewing all around the world, and some of our interviews are on our Facebook page, some of them are on our YouTube page, but it's just great to get insight from leaders like yourself. So really the first question, how do you look for ways to fill in gaps as a leader at this time?
I think a lot of us ask that question because there's really nothing more powerful in helping us feel better and stronger than feeling like we're helping somebody else. So it's really natural that we turn to what can I do? And for me, the first thing I asked is how can I bring my gifts to bear? Because I always say we have these resources, we say we have time, we have money, but the most important thing to me is energy and gifts. So where can I put my energy and my gifts and fill in gaps? And for me, because one of my greatest gifts is, of course, working with leaders, it was stepping in as a mentor, especially with nonprofits that are right now challenged with serving their members and whatever demographic, their cause is to serve. Leadership needed to be thinking about how to turn all that into remote offerings rather than supporting the people that they would normally support, their downline. And so I could step in and do some mentoring, do some coaching with the people that they would normally be taking care of within their own organization. So I just looked at my gifts and said, what do I do, and how can I do it in a way that serves the people most challenged?
And then you often talk a lot about leadership models. I mean, we've had tons of conversations about that, and we talk about triangles. So you've started a new conversation about triangles to circles. Will you speak to that?
Yeah, this has been something that's been coming to me for a long time. We have this model of leadership that is almost like huge triangle, little triangles inside, right? So if we think of company, the company's one triangle with leadership at the very top, and then within that we have little triangles with leadership at the top of their own departments, their own projects, their own whatever. And that's how we view leadership, is what triangle are you at the top of? And if you think about how energy works, that means all of the people who are leading are a long distance from each other. They're siloed. And so that's what I've been working with for a long time, is helping people bring all those silos and to understand the interdependence of those, different leadership roles. And of course, right now we're being forced to look at how interdependent our entire structure is, everything from the people and the technologies and the shipping and the goods and all that. So to me, I take those triangles and I think about what would happen if all the leaders were really connected. And I kind of jokingly, or maybe not so jokingly, call it a company of heroes, because it's the old model of a bunch of heroes getting together and going on a quest. And they might, argue and even fight and, whatever, but they all had one end game in mind, and they were all bonded together toward that common goal. And I think we've really lost that in our structure. Not just, what happens in corporate structure really reflects and informs what happens outside of corporate structure. It's our culture. So, we have a very militaristic culture about leadership. And what I'm looking to do now is how to integrate and augment what other leaders are doing. I don't feel like this is a time for us to run around and start our own thing necessarily. Although that's what entrepreneurs do by nature. We see a problem, we want to create something to fix it, and we like to be seen as being the solution. But this is not the time when we can afford all that division of energy and gifts. So I think it's really a time that all the leaders that are working toward a certain thing need to come together and form a circle of solutions and energy and support for everybody else.
I love that. One of the things that I've loved about this interview series is asking leaders about their favorite quotes or words of inspiration. What might be yours?
My work always starts by turning inward. I know you understand that. And I always think about, when we don't do that inner work, the outer work isn't going to work. So it really came to me when all of this started. This is an impossible time to understand what's going on out there. So the quote that's just been sustaining me is, when it's impossible to understand what's going on out there, it becomes imperative to understand what's going on in here.
Dixie Gillaspie, founder of Tessera Alliance. How can people find you online?
The easiest is probably social media right now. That's where I'm most likely to respond. So Facebook or LinkedIn, especially. And you can just look under Dixie Gillaspie, Dixie Gillaspie, or really that just message me directly. Don't go through all normal channels right now. If you need to talk to me, just find me on social media or email me directly. And the easiest to remember is just Dixie Gillaspie at Gmail. I'll respond to that, and it's easy for people to remember.
Awesome. Dixie, thanks so much for taking the time to join me.
Happy to, John. Thanks so much.
So I will leave you all with my quote for this interview, which is, how you react to a crisis shows your character as a leader, and that is so true right now. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is John Launius. I am the president of Vidzu Media. We'll be back with more interviews on the Leadership Factor.